Travel me with a melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies, till all my fears are gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear. Bow down before him, for he is Lord of all. Sing hallelujah, Christ is risen. Oh, come to the altar, the Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was bought with the precious blood of Jesus Christ.
Let's pray. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you that we're all able to come to our chapel and glorify you. And thank you for this day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Good morning, everyone. Are you awake? We have a special chapel today. I'm really excited about it. We've got our speaker here today. We're also recognizing Creative Writing Awards. This came from last year's ACSI competition. We tried to schedule that a couple of times this year, and both times something happened where we weren't able to recognize those authors. So we'll be recognized today if we took part in the ACSI competition last year. And then we're also recognizing our junior high basketball team. So I'm really excited about that. I want to introduce our speaker today. Our speaker is Pastor Rick Arbaugh. He is the assistant pastor of Portersville Presbyterian Church. So let's welcome here today.
I want to start by just thanking your school for having me back and also taking the sticker off the verse that I'm going to read for you in a minute. I picked a talk this morning that's a little different from what I normally do. Normally I would start off just by reading the passage. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to give you a little bit of a story first. I'm going to start by just kind of sharing a little bit of what's gone on in my life in the last year. But also at the same time, I want to ask you questions. And a lot of these are questions that I've been asking myself and I've been working through at different points in the year. And the first question I want to ask you is, are you tired? And you can answer that question a lot of different ways. I already have some head nods going, oh, yeah, I'm tired. And I get it, it's 9:19, and you're sitting in chapel listening to me. But I also look at other ways that you can answer this question. You know, I'm sure some of you are tired of wearing masks. Some of you are tired of cold weather. There's a lot of head nodding going on. This is great. But no matter how you answer this question, this is one that I've dealt with at different points this year, because I've noticed it's a different kind of tired than what I would normally answer. Like normally, okay, you're physically tired, that's one thing. You go to bed a little earlier, you drink a cup of coffee, and you're fine. But what I've noticed in the last year is it's a different tired. Like I said, whether it's an emotional tired or even just a mentally tired. When I was introduced, I'm the assistant pastor at the Presbyterian Church of Portersville. And in the last year, what I've noticed was there was a job that I had before the pandemic started, and then there was a job that I had while the pandemic was going on and while our church was closed, the people being able to come in and worship together. And then when we came back, both jobs just kind of came together, and it's kind of the job that I have right now. And there's a verse that keeps popping in my head through different things in the last year, and I'll share a little bit more about that in a minute. But the passage that I want to read for you comes from Isaiah chapter 40, verses 28 through 31. And this is one that you've heard before, but I still want to read it again because it feels different this year. Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youth grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. This is one of those verses that I catch myself at different points of the year keep coming back to. Because like I said, I have a second question for you this morning, and that is, what are you waiting for? What do you catch yourself looking forward to in the next couple weeks and even in the next couple months? Just, if there's one or two people on the show, what are things you're looking forward to and things that you catch yourself waiting for? Anybody? The bus? Okay. Yeah, okay, family to visit. Can I get two more? I know for some of you who are in my youth group, you're having flashbacks here because I will wait. But can I get two more people? What are you waiting for? What are you excited for? Yes. Yeah, I am tired of the cold. Also, white on white everywhere all the time. One more person, something you're waiting for, something you're looking forward to. Birthdays, yeah. Getting to actually celebrate things with family and friends again. And some other things that you could easily add to this list is frankly, you're just waiting and looking forward to growing up, being able to get a driver's license. My list, I catch myself really looking forward to summer and just some things like that. And I want to go back and I want to look at this passage because like I said, in the last year, my to-do list has changed a little. I've been working through the ordination process, so I spent the first half of last year studying the Bible and really focusing on a book by book of the Bible study. And I was tired by the end of it. But what I ended up doing next was focusing on the church history exam that I had to take. And that one took a lot longer. That one was a lot more difficult. And frankly, I caught myself being surprised that I passed it. But one of the verses that I kept going back to when I was looking forward to this part being done and moving on to the next part, I kept finding myself coming back to this passage. And I like how it starts because it's a simple passage that proves a point. It starts by the writer saying, "Do you not know who God is?" And I think that's something over the last year that's easy to forget. It's easy to miss who God is. He's the creator and the sustainer of the universe. He's somebody who was around before the world spun for the first time, and he'll be in charge of the world long after you and I are gone. And it's helpful to also know it's made them tired, it's made them weary, it's made them anxious and stressful. It's unique when you're in a leadership position where you can see how different people react to hardship. Some people just, for whatever reason, kind of just stop talking and just deal with it. Other people get grumpy. Other people get all kinds of different emotions. You're all probably thinking of one right now, and you're right. And what fascinates me, or no, I'm sorry, not fascinates me, but what I find interesting is we're coming up on about a year since we started dealing with this. We're coming up on a year since, your school closed for a little while and went online. Our church, for the first time in 200 years, we didn't have people in the building. We were just doing services online, and it felt like we were barely doing enough to try to minister and impact people. But when you get tired and when you get stressed and anxious and deal with all the different feelings that probably popped in your head as I mentioned some of these stories, what I find fascinating is right after this passage talks about who God is, this passage then goes into what God does for you. And read this again, or listen to this again as I read it. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youth grow weary and young men stumble and fall. But those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. The reason I asked you what are things that you're waiting for and what are things that you're looking for, frankly, at different points in the last year, it's given me things to look forward to. It's given me things that I hope for. I've worked the last 5 or 6 years on getting through the ordination process and the different things that it takes to be a pastor. And there's something I'm looking forward to at the end of it. And one of those things is quite easy, just no longer studying note cards. but also in addition to that, different opportunities that God's going to open as I look to being a pastor. And for some of you this morning, what I want to say is this. While you're tired, it fascinates me that God gives us the strength and the energy to keep going. And even in this passage, I come to appreciate later that he doesn't necessarily take away what makes us tired. He gives us the ability to deal with it. He gives us the ability to overcome it. And I look forward to seeing what life looks like when this pandemic's over. I look forward for you, when you get the things on your list that you go, I'm looking forward to this. And I just want to remind you, as you go through the day ahead, as you go through the week ahead, that God's brought you this far, and he's going to keep providing for you. He's going to keep taking care of you. This is something that keeps popping in my head when I read this verse is, God's brought me this far. He's going to keep taking me into the next steps and into the different things that he has planned for me. But he's going to do the same thing for you. And I hope that if you hear nothing else from me this morning, keep remembering that God's brought you this far. God's going to keep providing for you. God's going to keep taking care of you. And yes, while you might be tired and while you might be exhausted, I just hope and pray that God continues to give you the strength you need, continues to give you the motivation that you need to do whatever homework assignments you have, whatever practices that you have, whatever other things your time requires of you. Just remember where that strength comes from, especially when you need it the most. Would you pray with me? God, I thank you for this morning. Lord, I thank you for a passage written so long ago. I thank you for how it impacts us even today in 2021, when we're tired, when we're stressed, when we have things that we're looking forward to, but they seem so far away. Lord, I pray for each person here. I pray for the students. I pray for the teachers. I pray for the faculty, the staff, and the administration. Lord, for those of us who are tired, for those of us who are stressed, those of us who just can't count down the days till spring break comes soon enough, Lord, I pray that you would give us the strength we need to get through the day. Lord, that you would continue to just show your presence in our life and help us get through the different tasks that you have ahead of us in this day and in this week ahead. In your name I pray. Amen.